some of you cheated and looked at my other videos that I did, so you know what the cosplay is. Oh, I'm just kidding. It's okay. I should have thought about that before I released the video and then tried to play it up as a joke that I'm wearing a cosplay. I do wonder if this joke is getting old at this point, but I still find it mildly amusing. Alright, I guess I'll come on. I guess I'll come on and spoil and show what my cosplay is. Where's the button? Where's the button? Where's the button? There's the button! Hello, everyone! Oh, was the music? I think I might have turned on the music too much. But how's my mic? How's my levels? Everything good? Everything should be good on the mic. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you're all doing well. Hopefully you all enjoyed the new Star Trek Picard outfit that I got. Got it for a video that I'm going to be doing, and I just figured, might as well wear it. It's kind of nice. It's probably, honestly, this might be the comfiest cosplay I've had. It also kind of, like, squares the shoulders in an interesting way. It's, like, very, like, but I like how it kind of droops down, but it also, like, kind of gives, like, a sharp shoulder edge. It's kind of nice, How is everyone doing today? Hello, Corey. Good to see you. Punk Rock Zoologist. By the way, come Punk Rock. I will have Tim Tams on the next video, on the next live stream next week. I'll save some for that, but yeah. I have not had them yet, but I do have them. So we'll do that next time. But Death Shaker, good to see you. Thank you very much, Death Shaker, if I can say words. Don Nichols, Just Carowin, Celestial Amethyst, good to see you. Geek Filter, long time no talk. Let's see, what else? Just quick, pulling this up real quick. My favorite uniform. It's a good uniform. I really like it. I'm not sure if it's my favorite. I'd probably still give that to the Star Trek Discovery, the TOS, the original series version uniforms as we see them in Discovery, the one that like Captain Pike wears and everything. Those are probably my personal favorites, but this is a good one. It's definitely up there. But yeah, hello everybody. It's good to see you all. I hope you're all doing well this fine evening. For those of you who don't know what this is, just a quick give like an introduction for everybody. This is my weekly chat stream where I just set up, I sit here for about an hour or so, hang out with all of you, and we just talk about whatever anyone else to talk about. So whatever you want to talk about, we'll discuss. It'll be whatever you all want to direct. What do you want to just talk about? Anything like talk. How many times can I say the word talk about? It's like I'm gonna go on a talk about journey. It's gonna be very deep and important. But yeah, that's basically what this is. It's just a chat stream. We just talk for an hour. I talk about whatever you want. If you do super chats, I give you a heart. Super chats do help support the channel, help support me paying my bills. So super chats get hearts. I answer your question, makes it more likely that I'll read your question. But beyond the hearts and beyond the super chats, we just hang out and talk about whatever you want to talk about. So whatever anyone wants to talk about today, what does everyone want to discuss? Mr. Goodwolf says, where's Newt? Newt is in the other... I actually have a friend visiting today, so she's been here visiting for about a week or so. So she's out... Newt's actually out harassing her. Actually, Newt has been so... Like, whenever I have, like, a friend visiting, Newt... By the way, Newt is my cat, for those of you who don't know. Newt is... He always gets more lovable and intense. When it's just me, he like attacks he like scratches me sometimes when he'll like chase after me, like meow all the time for food. But then otherwise he'll just go off and like do whatever and be his like, I love him, but his jerk self. But whenever I have a friend over here, he is a perfect angel. Loves to sit on laps, loves to purr all the time, likes to just meow and get attention. He is a perfect little angel until someone leaves. So it's always kind of funny. And hey, Counselor Geeks, good to see you. Look at you popping in. Good to see you. I hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good day there, Council. Hopefully you're having a good day. Let's see what's that. I'm just checking something. Where am I? Sorry, everyone. I say the super chats. So just quick at a message. Just want to respond to it. All right. By the way, oh, sorry. So for super chats, Fleming, apologies. I'm gonna say your name wrong. So apologies in advance. By Kashawan Fleming. I know I mispronounced it. I do apologize. Blame me for being terrible at pronouncing names, but I give you a heart, and I thank you so much. You are absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for the super chat. And also Carlisle the Cinephile. I have to do the Picard maneuver every single time. It's like, it does right up. Like, I gotta pull the shirt. Carlisle the Cinephile, heart to you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. You said, so I'm considering streaming on Twitch, and I was hoping you could provide me recommendations of equipment to start with. Ooh, good question. So it depends, Carlisle, what you're planning on doing on Twitch. What are you planning on doing on Twitch? Because it really kind of depends on what your aim is. So if you want to play games on Twitch, if you're like gonna do like video gaming and stuff, there's a couple different ways to go about it, and it also depends on the console you have, if I could say words good right. Excuse me, the Picard, exactly, Corey. Just got to do the Picard maneuver is always the important part of the fun. You're planning on playing on my games. You plan on gaming on your PS4. Okay, cool. So a few different things that you could do. First thing you're going to want is download the program OBS. OBS is a great program to have. Well, it kind of depends. One other question for you, Carlo the Cinephile, since you're hanging out in the chat. If you're going to be streaming on PS4, are you just going to stream right from the PlayStation 4 onto Twitch? Because you can do that, and the PS4 makes it very easy. The interface is kind of blah, but it's very easy to do that. Or are you planning on trying to run your PlayStation into your computer and then run it from the computer onto Twitch? Both are equally good options. The computer gives you more control. That's what I do. But if you just want to stay the basic, like the very, very basic stuff, I can tell you that too. So those are sort of the question. Honestly, that was what I was saying. You're just going to do it right from your PlayStation 4? Awesome. So to answer the question then, what I would recommend is, if you're just going to stream it from your PlayStation 4, two things you're definitely going to need, and then there's some options from there. First thing you're definitely going to need is you're going to need a camera. I believe you can connect any USB camera into the PlayStation. You might have to buy a PlayStation camera, but I think you can plug in any of them. So you need to get a good camera to show your face on. I would recommend a Logitech camera. Those are a little bit more expensive, but you can use any of them. But then there's also the PlayStation 4 camera that you can just buy. I don't really like those. The camera's not that great, but you can do that. So you need to buy a camera. I would recommend a Logitech one. They're relatively cheap and do fairly well. That's what I'm like, this camera right here that you're watching me on, Logitech camera. The next thing you're definitely going to need are headphones. Preferably headphones like these right here. Headphones with a mic input. Because the mic input will allow you to talk, like you wear headphones and talk into the mic at the same time. That's like the basic version of what you will need. Because the headphones, that way you won't have bleed. You'll put the headphones on, you won't have bleed out of the sound into your into like the microphone, people hearing the music from both the game and the game streaming that you're doing. And also the mic will just allow you to just talk right into it. So you need headphones 100%, preferably one with a mic input. If you don't want to do the mic input, the other thing you're going to need is you're going to need a microphone. Like this one right here. I got like a USB microphone. You're going to need a USB microphone. There's a bunch of different variety ones, different quality ones that you can get. But you are going to need some sort of microphone. If you want to go the cheap route, just go to this. Like they sell these types of headphones at like Target, Walmart for like 30, 40 bucks. And it's pretty good, and it'll do you well. And I think it'd be just a fine choice for you. I think these are like Turtle Bay, I think they're called, headphones. So yeah, basic Turtle Bay headphones with a mic and headphones, camera, and then if you're feeling frisky, because you know we like to feel frisky here, I would get a microphone. So those are my recommendations for you in terms of stuff for streaming. That's the type of equipment that I would recommend. That's like the basic stuff. You can go crazier. You can hook it in the computer, get a capture card, get OBS, all that fun stuff. If you're just trying to do the basics, just trying to ease your way in, that's what I would say you definitely need. So, all right, what else is everyone else talking about? What do we want to discuss? And did I miss any super chats? I want to make sure I didn't miss any. Speaking of the devil, one just came up. Ulysses the Pagan, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat, you lovely human. I hope you're doing well, and thank you so much. You said, what are your guilty pleasure horrible Star Trek franchise episodes that are universally banned? By the way, you look great tonight. Oh, thank you so much. I thought it looked good. I was recording a few videos, so the look is for the videos. Let's see. Favorite guilty pleasure episodes that are bad. Oh, I'm trying to think. So, I mean, to be honest, the like ones that are like so bad they're good that like everyone pans, I actually kind of enjoy. So like Threshold is a bad episode, but I really kind of enjoy it. Same thing with Move Along Home. Same thing with Spock's Brain. Like those episodes are very eminently like endlessly watchable. Like I actually really, really enjoy those episodes of Star Trek. Like everyone hates on them. I kind of enjoy them. The episodes that I kind of hate within Star Trek are really the ones that are like actively offensive, like Code of Honor, which are their whole own discussions. Like we could talk about the offensiveness of Code of Honor all day long, and other episodes like Cogenitor and stuff like that. But the episodes that I find to be like the ones that I really, really just dislike are the boring ones. Like there are so many, especially like early Star Trek Voyager has this problem a lot too, but even early Deep Space Nine and Next Generation has a fair few of these as well. Just episodes that are just like, that was a fine episode of Star Trek. Didn't really say much, didn't really do much. They got through the situation. It was fun. Like there's a lot of that. Star Trek, early Star Trek Voyager is probably the most egregious example of that. But yeah, I think like the episodes that I like is like I like Threshold. It's funny. It's funny in a very, very, very bad way. I'm trying to think of like any other specific like out and out terrible episodes that I really enjoy. Move Along Home is a lot of fun. You can get like you can get inebriated and just kind of enjoy that. I even like Star Trek V for that exact reason. Like Star Trek: The Final Frontier is hilarious to watch. Sub Rosa, exactly. Of course, Sub Rosa has the weird British stereotypes. Like, Sub Rosa is weird. Oh, the one that I really love that's, like, absolutely terrible. I forget the name of it, but it's the one where Wesley trips on the grass and will get murdered by the people, like, who like to oil themselves up and, like, massage themselves. Like, that whole planet, like, the weird sex planet where everyone's, like, muscly and oily and likes to just massage everyone and wants to bone Riker because everyone wants to bone Riker. And then there's, like, this patch of grass that, like, Wesley steps on. And because he stepped on the patch of grass, they're like, we're going to murder you now. It's a weird episode. It's like Justice. It's like, thank you, Andrew Clegg. It's so weird. Like, I get what they were going for. Like, oh, the Prime Directive and like different types of justice and reasoning. But, and I guess though you could even like toss in, like, it even has a little bit of like the ones who walk away from Omilaw's vibe to it. Like, we just have one thing that's illegal, so like we do it because we need to have something illegal and it keeps people on their toes. There is like a weird thing. I like there's these smatterings of good ideas in there, but it's just weird. It does not play well at all. So yeah, that would probably be my answers for that. Like that episode is fascinatingly funny. Except for Tasha Yar, who just likes to bring up the fact that she's, I don't even say it on stream because it's a whole thing, but like Tasha Yar, I think in that episode too, is like, I came from a planet that had horrible stuff happen on it. I won't say the specifics, but it's like, okay, Tasha, thanks for bringing that up. And we're moving on now. So yeah, it's just weird. And Geek Filter, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart to you. You are lovely. Thank you, Geek Filter. Alan Moraine, count to 4. Alan Moraine, then 3 more. Alan Moraine, don't you see? Alan Moraine, I forget the exact rhyme, but yeah, it's, oh God, it's such a weird one. It's such a weird one. Who do you want to be the 14th Doctor? I was actually having this conversation earlier. I don't want to spoil too much because it's a video that I have access to because I'm a patron, but I'll shout it out to go watch it. But Council of Geeks, who is in the chat, has a video that is coming out on Friday, I believe. Friday or Saturday. You'll have to let me know, Council. We have a video coming out about Joe Martin possibly being the next Doctor. And I would say I second all of her thoughts on that. So go. I'm a patron of hers, so I see the video before it comes out because I'm special like that. But I would highly recommend watching her video when it does come out if you're not a patron, because literally every single thought that she has, I second, and she says it better than I do. So if you want my thoughts on who should be the next Doctor, go watch that video from Council of Geeks. She did a phenomenal job with that on Saturday. Thank you, Council of Geeks. So, but yeah, I just second everything that she said. Stephen Fenn, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat, you lovely, lovely human. You said, "Hey Jesse, oh my gosh, how many Picard maneuvers am I gonna do?" So someone earlier was saying we should count. You better be counting. You better be counting how many Picard maneuvers I've been doing, because this is like kind of funny. You're like, I understand now. I understand why Patrick Stewart constantly had to do that, because you like it constantly bunches. It's like that first episode of Oh God, Larry David, with the bunched pants. It's a whole different thing. Sorry, that's a sidetrack. Anyways, Steven, heart to you again. I appreciate you. You said, hey, Jessie, I'm currently in Aurora, Oregon. It's a million degrees here. Why is it so hot on the West Coast? It's never this hot in Toronto. Honestly, I mean, you want the depressing answer? I mean, I don't live in Oregon, so I don't know, like, the normal temperatures, but it's been hot here in Seattle, too. I mean, not crazy. It's, like, 80 today, which is not, like, really, really hot, but fairly hot for Seattle. I mean, the depressing answer is climate change. Yay. It's great. Yeah, no, it's I hate to get depressing. We don't need to focus on it too much on the stream, but yeah, it is quite literally just the fact that this is probably going to be the norm going forward from now on. Like, climate's changing and the West Coast is going to get hotter, and we could have stopped it. And you know, there's still things that we can and need to do now to mitigate that. But it's here. This is it. And you're gonna see, like, maybe next summer will be lower, maybe next summer will be hotter, but it's that upward, like, trajectory trend. It's depressing, it's scary. We can still do stuff. There's still some stuff we can do to fight it, but that's sadly the reason. I don't really know what else more to say about it. It sucks. So yeah. But anyways, sorry that got depressing there for a second. Erica, thank you so much. I don't know, Erica. I don't know. I like delineated your name into each syllable, Erica. Erica, good to see you. How are you doing? By the way, Corey, thank you for finishing the Alarain. If you can see Alarain, you'll come with me. Thank you, Corey, for finishing off the rhyme. I had to do that. Gosh, darn it, the Picard maneuver. Anyways, I'm just never gonna. It's just gonna keep happening. Erica, you said, have you ever watched What We Do in the Shadows, either movie or TV series? Yes, I have seen both, and both are freaking excellent. They are like the pinnacle. Like, I love that show. I also need to see Wellington Paranormal, which I know is like I think it's the New Zealand show that's kind of like a spin-off of the movie of What We Do in the Shadows. I do want to watch it. I think it's on HBO Max. I do want to watch that show. But both versions of What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show and the movie, phenomenal. Hysterical. The Mark Hamill episode of the What We Do in the Shadows is so good. It's so funny. They do such good jobs of like breaking. It's kind of like Rick and Morty, but for vampire tropes. Like, they just take all the tropes of vampires and science fiction and just break it down hysterically. I'm sorry, horror fiction, I should say, not science fiction. Yeah, like, I know that's probably the weirdest way to explain it. It's like, imagine The Office meets Rick and Morty for horror vampire tropes combined together. And that's kind of what you got for that show. And it is deadpan, hilarious. I cannot recommend it enough. Like, if you have not seen What We Do in the Shadows, go watch it. At the very least, the movie. The show is great, too, and I highly recommend the show. The show is phenomenal, but if you don't have the time to invest in the show, very least watch the movie. The movie is 2 hours of absolutely hystericalness. I cannot talk about it enough, how much I love it. So yeah, I very much recommend that. Let us see here. By the way, thank you, by the way, Corey, for catching that person in the chat. Let us say thank you to the mods for that. So we'd sometimes get those weird people. They're weird people. They're dumb. It's fine. Weird spot attacks. To you mods, you are lovely. So I just want to say thank you to you mods. And Corey, looks like you were the one that grabbed that. So thank you, Corey. Anywho, back to the question. I saw one coming in for... or actually, Punk Rock... Someone got it. Whoever got it, whoever the mods did, thank you. I appreciate you. But anyways, Punk Rock Zoologist, heart to you for both being a mod and for being someone who gave a super chat. You said, you mentioned the ones who walk away from Only Laws. Have you ever read The Ones Who Stay and Fight by M.K. Jemison? It's a very good response to the former. M.K. Jemison is an amazing author. I actually have not read that from M.K. Jemison. I will second, though, that M.K. Jemison is an amazing, amazing author. I've read her Broken Earth trilogy, which is the series that she wrote that won a Hugo. Like, every single book in the series won a Hugo Award for each year. And I believe she was the first author to win 3 years in a row, and also the first, I believe, the first black author to win a Hugo. I might be incorrect on that one. Feels too long in coming. It feels like it should be incorrect. It most certainly should be incorrect, but I could also see it depressingly be very correct. Not that she doesn't deserve it, but just that there were many black women authors that deserved it before her as well. Yeah, anyways, that's a whole different subject. But N.K. Jemisin herself is phenomenal. Her Broken Earth trilogy is so fantastic. Such a great deconstruction of some fantasy tropes and like telling fantasy in such a new and unique way and doing some really clever, smart stuff with it. Cannot recommend the Broken Earth. Like, if you have not read the Broken Earth trilogy, which I believe just got sold actually to do an adaptation of it, I cannot recommend it enough. It is excellent. I absolutely adore it. I will have to read The Ones Who Stay and Fight by her as well. I have not actually read it because the ones who walk away from Omi Laws. It's such an interesting story. It's The Ones Who Walk Away from Omi Laws is like an interesting thought puzzle, but I always hesitate with that story because it's very intriguing, and I love Ursula K. Le Guin, like one of my favorite authors of all time, obviously. But it's always one of those thought experiments that I'm sort of like, I don't understand its practical use in, like, what this sort of society, the sort of idea of One Who Walk Away from Omi Laws says about society. Like, what exactly is it? What is it? And what does it mean? And so I would love to see a critique and question on it, because it is an interesting idea. I love the concept, though. For those of you who don't know, the Ones Who Walk Away from Omi Laws, the basic idea of the story is that there's this perfect society, it's perfect utopia, everyone lives perfectly and happily, except for there, in one house, in one basement, there is a child who is abused, misused, mistreated completely. And everyone who lives in the society knows that this child exists, that it is given that horrible, horrible treatment, and everyone also knows that if they give that child any sort of compassion, then it will then the entire society will crumble. And there are people who choose to stay in the society despite that, and some who walk away. And now that I'm thinking about it, hearing that, I can honestly see an interesting reading on that about, like, I don't know what N.K. Jemisin wrote, but there's probably an interesting discussion within that about, like, what does that say about minorities? Like, what we do is, like, a lot of today's society is built on the back of mistreating horrible people. And we could even argue that there are some people who live in that utopian world who know that their society is built off of, and people with privilege, like, you know, like we do, like I do, I should say, not as a trans person, but as someone who's white. You know, I have a certain amount of privilege because of the world that exists, and that comes off of, you know, the white supremacy of our society today. And, you know, some people just choose to walk away and not take part of it. Some people just choose to let it continue and let people be mistreated. But honestly, I could even say, like, no, you have every right to treat that. Like, the moral thing to do is not to walk away or participate. The moral duty is to treat that child and take that child and give it love and kindness and screw everyone else. You know? I think that's probably the case there. So, yeah. I again don't get N.K. Jemisin's intention there, but there we go. Also, by the way, thank you for people catching the rating people. So, all right, quick catching up here. Oh yeah, that was directed by the same guy who directed, exactly, yeah, it was the same guy who directed Jojo Rabbit, Thor Ragnarok. It was Taika Waititi, Louis Man Gaming. Let's see here. Catching up on the chat here. The Good Morty, Eric, I see your super chat real quick, but I want to quick answer this because I know some people asked this. The Good Morty, I was wondering, do you have any specific political affiliations or particular ideologies that strongly influence you? I mean, obviously, if it's not obvious, I'm very left leaning. I also generally identify as an anarchist, mostly on the sense of, like, I too do think that a lot of political structures need to justify themselves. That hierarchical structures need to justify themselves because I believe a lot of hierarchies are unnecessary and that we could do things on a more community basis to have more community control over stuff instead of giving ourselves over to a hierarchy. And any type of hierarchy ultimately needs to justify the fact that it exists. And I think some could justify their existence. Like if somebody needs to have like a rapid response in a situation, and you need to have like certain amount of people who can make those choices really quickly in particular settings, but also how that's going to be built up, who gets to have that power, when that gets to happen, whether they keep that power, all those sort of questions. There's a lot, and I know there's a lot of different ideologies within anarchism, and I'm not necessarily prescribed to one because I haven't done, the full research on all of them, but that's basically, I would say I generally tend to lean that way. Otherwise, I tend to be very left and not liberal, if you know the distinction. Those are sort of the basic stuff. I can go deeper and further, and we can get further into that discussion, but that would generally be the case. So yeah, I'm very much the stereotypical, like, oh look, it's the communist trans person. Like, I'm whatever the anti-SJW crowd is ranting about. That's probably me. I'm probably the caricature that they're thinking of, but prettier than I would presume that they would characterize me. So, yeah, I'm basically a pretty version of that. Oh, thank you very much, Tabitha. I really appreciate you saying I look pretty today. Erica, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, I always picture the mods in the chat sitting behind laptops, devices in full warrior gear whispering, not today, punk, when they squash a troll. Yes, that is exactly what they do. Mods, you are killing it. Just like, yes, no. Or just like, I'm trying to think of like, I don't know why, this is probably not the best metaphor, but I keep thinking of that Lord of the Rings orc. Like, I'm just imagining the mods just being like that one orc in and Lord of the Rings Return of the King, who just like stares up at the rock coming and is like, just casually steps out of the way. Just like, I got this. I'm confident. Screw everyone else. So, I think that's the image that I get of the wonderful mods for being absolutely wonderful. Aw, thank you, Jedi Indiana Jones. You haven't seen me that much without makeup, have you? The makeup helps. Or see me on days where like I just woke up. Like, see me when I just woke up from bed and tell me I look pretty, because my hair always insane. My hair always looks insane when I just woke up. It's always a thing. So yeah, very much so. Yeah, dang commies. Yeah, exactly, Molly. Exactly, Molly. Is that an invitation? That was not an invitation. Isn't it? If you want to imagine waking up in bed next to me, you go right ahead. I am not here to tell you that that's wrong. Totally okay. But it's not an invitation to wake up in bed next to me. Some people maybe, not everyone. Oh God, what did I get into? I dove headlong into that one. As I generally like to dive headlong into things when it involves the bedroom. I'm sorry, I tease. I am the worst person. Let's see. What's your favorite Star Trek Discovery episode? Good question. Oh, that is a good question. I'd have to sit and think about it for Star Trek Discovery. Just because the issue with Star Trek Discovery is like a lot of the episodes kind of flow into each other. And so it's hard to like pinpoint one. I feel like most of my favorite episodes would probably be in season 3. Season 1, my favorite episode of season 1 is easily the time loop episode that they did. That time loop episode is a lot of fun. I forget the name of it. But the time loop episode of season 1 of Discovery. Season 2, I'd probably say New Eden. I really, really enjoyed New Eden. But again, it's hard to pick it out because like New Eden you can kind of pick out because it's like a clear like episode that you can like, oh, it's not really tied to much else. It sort of like has its own thing. Whereas all the rest of them kind of like blur together. So it's not necessarily a knock against the rest of the episodes in season 2. It's just more like that's when I can kind of clearly define the boundaries of as an episode. Season 3 I think gets a little bit better in that sense. I would say Unification 3 is pretty good. I also really, really love the Trill episode. I think it's Forget Me Not, I think is the name of the episode of season 3. I did a whole video on that because I think while I have some problems with it and there's some arguments of the bury your gay stuff, I thought that in Forget Me Not, they did such a brilliant job, the writers, of evoking transness and what it means to be trans, the gender confirmation theory stuff. Gender confirmation surgeries is what I meant. Connecting that explicitly with the Trill, yet letting both Blue Del Barrio and Ian Alexander do such wonderful work as both of their characters. There's such they also evoke LGBTQ culture in really wonderful ways. Like they have the quilt in that episode that clearly evokes the AIDS quilt. It's a really, really beautiful episode, I think, overall. And while I do have some concerns with it in terms of its place, in terms of how it treats the trans character, Alexander's character in a bury your gays metaphor, and I do have concerns with that, and still ongoing concerns with the show in that sense, I really think, for me personally, I personally can look past them and really enjoy and love the metaphor of that episode. Other people may not be able to forgive that as easily or maybe have bigger concerns. Other concerns may outweigh some of the stuff that they like about the episode. for me, I really enjoyed that episode. I thought it was a really, really beautiful, really, really beautiful episode. I think they did a great job. Same thing with Unification 3 in that season. That episode really very much... What I loved about that episode in season 3 of Discovery was it managed to draw from so many different aspects of Star Trek. There was references to Spock and Leonard Nimoy's Spock and connecting that to Michael Burnham. You had references to Star Trek Picard with Quat Milat. You had, bringing back Vulcan, and Vulcan Nivar evolved the mythology of Star Trek. It pushed Star Trek forward. It wasn't just saying like, oh, well, we're doing the same Star Trek, like it's the same Star Trek, It's like, no, they actually moved the plot forward with the Romulans and Vulcans in a way that we hadn't seen done in any other Star Trek before. So it referenced all different aspects of Star Trek. It pushed forward the Star Trek mythology in a way. It did so in an episode that really honed in on Michael Burnham's character and really discussed her character and dove into her character really, really well. And the episode was a trial episode, so it was all mostly dialogue based. It wasn't like crazy science or some crazy action adventure that I like. Don't get me wrong, I love the crazy action adventure stuff that Discovery can bring. Don't get me wrong, I love the crazy action adventure stuff. Not gonna say I don't. But an episode of Discovery that's really dialogue heavy, talking about like logic and trying to work out different stuff, but also doing it in an emotional way, talking about what the Federation means. Unification 3 was also really beautiful. I really think Star Trek Discovery Season 3 was by far from my favorite, season of any Star Trek ever, but I really think it showed such brilliance in episodes there. And I think Unification 3 and Forget Me Not are probably two phenomenal episodes of that show that really have me excited to see more of what they're going to do in Season 4 now that they really found their voice. And I think just on their own are just really fantastic. So I think that those two episodes probably would be my two favorite. New Eden also I think is just a great like TOS type episode that feels more like it'll be like what they're going to do on Strange New Worlds for that spinoff. But New Eden's also a lot of fun. It was very, very, very much like a modern day original series episode that I really kind of enjoyed. So yeah, I think that hopefully that answered your question. I kind of ranted there for a little bit. Let's see. Did I miss? Nope. Super chats. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. If I do miss a super chat, let me know, folks. But let me look for another question. Anyone else have questions? So I'm just looking. I'm scouring for a question. How much have you had to drink tonight? Says Celestia Amethyst. We got political Jessie and horny Jessie. How long will it be till we get lovely Jessie? You always get lovely Jessie, I hope, Celestia Amethyst. But no, I haven't had 0 drinks so far today, which. It's a weekday. I try not to drink on weekdays. Try not to. I'm sad, Miss Wicked Wolf, I'm sad that Jodie Whittaker is leaving. Yeah, me too. I mean, I won't go too into this, because I just did it to promote my own video. If you want my full thoughts on, Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall leaving, I just shot a whole video that's on my other channel. So if you want to see that, I have that video that just went up over on my other channel that discusses all my thoughts on Jodie Whittaker leaving and Chris Chibnall leaving. Abbreviated version of that. I am kind of glad to see Chris Chibnall go. I have not been the biggest fan of his work. Not because I hate him. I don't want to fall into the toxic side of fandom, the toxic arguments that they always bring up of like, "Rah, Chris Chibnall's ruined Doctor Who." There's elements of his run that I really enjoy, but I feel like his strengths are more in telling overarching stories over many episodes, which Doctor Who isn't really set up to do, because Doctor Who is very much episodic. Like, we jump into a place, do a crazy story, crazy stuff happens, then we're out, and tell like a very singular episodic story. I'm not saying Doctor Who can't do that, but I think it's a little harder to set up to do that. Even less so than like Star Trek The Next Generation. Even like Star Trek The Next Generation or like other Star Trek shows also have that problem sometimes where it's meant to be like episodic, and I see people saying like Discovery shouldn't be episodic. But Discovery, at least you have like a big cast on a ship, and that's like the main setting, whereas Doctor Who is meant to be like small and confined, and it's kind of more zippy aroundy, and you don't have like the big cast of at least a crew of people that you have week to week. And so you see that in Chris Chibnall's work in the sense that like he wants to bring in a bunch of characters. Not only is there more companions than ever before in Doctor Who, which gets very crowded, but even in like when we land and have like go into new stories, like every new story there's like a bunch of new side characters every single week that like you get to see. Like there's clearly a lot of thought put behind these characters, but we don't get enough time to delve into them. So we have more main characters than ever before. The side characters are more developed, or at least have more backstory presumably than ever before. And so mashing them all together is just too much. And so I feel like Chris Chibnall Doctor Who does not play to his strengths. Something like Broadchurch or Torchwood, where you have a set cast in a confined or set location. that like people have to sit with week to week. I feel like that plays much more to his strengths. And so I'm sad to see, I'm glad to see him go, not in the sense of like, yeah, screw Chris Chibnall, he ruined Doctor Who. More in the sense that I just don't think Doctor Who was ever his strength. On the flip side of that, Jodie Whittaker I loved. I feel like she was never given the full characterization that she needed as a doctor. But I do think that she was absolutely lovely. And I'm sad to see her go, because I think she was absolutely wonderful, and she did a great job. And I think I'm saddened to see her go overall. So yeah, I think that's sort of my long and short. Like I said, I go into further detail into all of that in my video. So if you want my bigger thoughts on it, that video will go give you all my thoughts on it. But that's sort of the long and short of it. Like, glad to see Chris Chibnall leaving, not out of toxic reasons, just sort of like, you know, he just wasn't my favorite in terms of Doctor Who. I'm excited to see what he does next, would be probably the better way to put it. But Jodie Whittaker, I'm a little bit more, like, saddened to see her leave. But it makes sense. It makes sense. Give the new showrunner a blank slate to kind of work with, so. But Bazorkin, sorry I missed a few super chats during my rant there, but Bazorkin, heart to you, thank you so much, for you. You are absolutely lovely. You said, your opinions on Sisko as a captain. Great captain. He is the captain who, I like to distinguish Sisko between, like, Picard and Sisko, is that Picard will almost always make the moral choice. Like, Picard will get his hands dirty from time to time, but Picard will always make the morally right choice, no matter if it's a detriment to himself or the people around him. Like, if it meant doing the right thing in the moment, Picard would let the Federation fall. If it meant doing the right thing in the moment for the people in front of him. Not to say he doesn't have long-term goals or anything like that. I'm not saying he's like, he wouldn't try to find another solution. But if that was the case, that's what he would do. Sisko is someone who I think looks at more of the arc of things, sees further out, and will sometimes make the harder call than I think Picard would make. You see that clearly in different episodes, like In the Pale Moonlight, I think being the best example of that. But you see it in other episodes as well. But I think because of that, because he's willing to do that, he makes a lot more mistakes as well. You see that in the episode for the uniform, which I think is such a great episode of, like, I think Sisko does kind of in that episode where he's like chasing after Michael Eddington, the Maquis member. He makes the wrong choice. He does a horrific act, and I think he does it out of his sort of Moby Dickian search to get revenge. And he makes the wrong choice. And so I find Sisko to be a morally complicated man, and in such a fascinating way. And what I like about him is he very much wrestles with that. He's very much aware, like, he is not unself-aware of that. Janeway, I feel like, is a Sisko who thinks she's a Picard. I think that's the distinction that I would make with, like, someone like Janeway. Janeway feels that she was always making the morally correct choice. But honestly, her morality is a little bit more gray. And I don't think she has that self-awareness. And that's not a knock against her or the writing. I think that's actually an interesting character for her. But I think that's the distinction. Picard, I think Sisko is someone who is a lot more self-aware and a lot more willing to critique himself than other captains. But he does make mistakes, and I think he's willing to do the hard thing, and I think he really has put himself on the line a lot more than other people, and I really love that as a captain. So yeah, I think that's my thought. So. Let's see. By the way, goodbye, Vera. Have a good night. And yeah, Jedi Indiana Jones. Sorry, I know I'm missing a few super chats, but I saw Jedi Indiana Jones. Jedi Indiana Jones, you just said you missed me seeing me on Twitch. I miss seeing me on Twitch too. There's reasons for that I will announce soon. It's nothing bad. It's just been busy with a few exciting announcements. If you're a Patreon of mine, you know at least one of these things that might be coming up. We won't say here, but there's a couple things that are going to be, announced on this channel, all positive, all good, and I'm excited to do them. But part of those things being set up and a lot of stuff going on, both, personal life and anxious wise and things like that. Just haven't had time to Twitch, so give you a little tease if you're there. But there's also a couple other things as well, that I'll be announcing too. So, let's see. I'm just quick checking up. All right, let me get to those super chats because I missed a few super chats. So apologies to those who I'm behind on. Paige McLaughlin, thank you so much for your super chat. You are lovely and absolutely wonderful. Ooh. Sorry if that hit the mic there. Apologies, everyone. You said, I appreciated last video on grief. Well, thank you so much, Paige. honestly, that video, I said this a few weeks ago. I said this on the last stream and a few days ago. That video was really meaningful to me. It was one of the hardest videos that I've made. One that caused me a lot more anxiety to make it, but it was one that, and it also caused me to like really dig deep in kind of wrestling with my grief. There's some stuff that I even wish I had put into it that I wrote out but didn't put into the video because I thought it was off topic, where I like, you know, when you write, you sort of write out your feelings and then you have to massage it into some sort of structure. So there was some stuff about like my fear of death that was part of that video that I got taken out, but it was all part of the process that made me feel really good. And so that video was just so meaningful for me to make. And seeing so many of you respond to it, I got so many messages both in the comments and privately on like Twitter and things like that of people saying that it helped them deal with grief that they've been feeling because of COVID and because of other things. And I'm very thankful for that. It really means a lot. Yeah. And so for all of you who watched that video, because it didn't do well in the algorithm, which is whatever, it's the algorithm is the algorithm. But ultimately, what I'm most proud of was it was helpful for me. I think the video itself was really good. I think I did some cool artistic stuff there. And I'm glad that it was able through that through my own stuff and through, you know, my creation of this work, that it was helpful to people. And that's ultimately the most important thing. And for both myself and for others. And so, yeah, I think that might have been one of my most successful videos for me in terms of its effect on people and its effect on me. Maybe not probably one of my least successful videos in the algorithm, but that is what it is. In terms of how I view that video, probably my most successful video I've ever done in terms of what I feel I accomplished with it, both emotionally for me and for people who watched it. So thank you, Paige. I really appreciate that. And Catherine Lambeth on the completely more positive, well, not that that was negative, but you know what I mean. Catherine Lambeth, heart to you. Thank you so much. You said you're beautiful without makeup too. Well, thank you very much. I am. It's fine. I just know that maybe it's one of those things. It's something that you just realize when you're someone who does put yourself in videos a lot, like you editing yourself all the time, you're being on camera all the time. I see why celebrities, not that I'm a celebrity, but I see like celebrities who like have to think about that all the time, like get caught up in like, oh, I need to look pretty, because it's like you are self-aware of you're constantly being looked at. Like, you are looking at me now, all of you, through this little camera right here. And so you start to, like, recognize that. And so, and I'm like, whenever I don't wear makeup in videos, I know 90% of you will not even notice or care. But then I'm like, oh, but I know I could look prettier. And that would make the aesthetics. It's not even like a vanity thing necessarily. It's more of like, I know the video would be, like, look prettier if I looked prettier. And I, like, want my videos to look pretty because they're the thing that I'm making. I like the things that I make to look pretty. So it's just like, yeah, it's just a weird, like, psychological thing you get into when you're a creator, that I think, like, just happens naturally because you're just conscious of the act of being looked at by other people. So the voyeuristic nature of that. I'm sure there's many studies and scientific stuff I could get into about it, but it's interesting. DK Silo, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat, you lovely, lovely human. You said, what's your favorite? Bunching up. What's your favorite Jodie Doctor episode? Good question. I would probably say I can name a few. I'm just trying to think of them. I really, really enjoyed Demons of the Punjab. I thought it was, and again, I am not someone who was there at that time in India's history and the separation of India into Pakistan and India and the horrors of that. The absolute disgusting horrors of that. So I can't tell if the episode itself portrayed it well or not. It's not something I can really critique. But for me, watching it, I thought that episode dealt with that subject matter really, really well. I thought it handled it the appropriate way. I loved the twist of that episode, which, spoiler alert for that episode, the twist of it is that the aliens that were there are not there to hurt anyone. They're there to save people's memories, to, when people die, to make sure they live on in just their memories being told through time. And I thought that resonated with the idea of why we tell stories, why you know, communities that tell stories of collective trauma, share stories of their ancestors because of that collective trauma, and passing forward and wanting to not that pain to not have been in vain, and also the beauty of that person's life to be remembered as well, not just defined by its horrible last few moments or the horrors that they may have endured because of their identity. I thought that episode just really handled that really, really well. It's not by no means a perfect episode. There's some structural problems and things like that you could totally level at the episode. But I feel like the emotional core of that episode hits me hard every single time I watch it. And I think it's probably the strongest one of the series. I think the other one too, it's not one that I really loved. I forget the name of the episode. And I didn't love it when I first watched it. But there's the episode about mental health, the one with like the animation, and it's about like depression and anxiety sort of battling each other and things like that. It was an episode I didn't really love when I first watched it, but actually Vera, Council of Geeks, did a review of that episode, and she has such a great take on it and discussions of mental health of that episode that every time I cannot watch the episode without having the way Vera saw that episode in my mind. And because of that, that episode really goes up higher in my estimation. It's one I did not appreciate on my first viewing, but one I appreciated more through critical analysis, and specifically Council of Geeks critical analysis, to hype up her review of that episode, discussion of that episode. I forget the name of it. I'm sure if someone mentions it in the chat. But if someone mentioned it in the chat, I missed it. But it's a good episode. So those are probably my two favorite Jodie Whittaker episodes overall. Yeah. I think those are probably the two biggest one. Let's see. Quick checking down. Bazorkin, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart to you, you lovely, lovely human. I give you all the love. And you said, I can't wait to see Jodie in a 5 Doctor special. Me too. Me too. I want another Doctor Who special. I want to see like all those Doctors together. That would be so much fun. Like imagine getting Christopher Eccleston, Matt Smith, David Tennant, Jodie Whittaker, Peter Capaldi, getting them all together. Oh, it'd be so much fun. So much fun. I'm sure like the fun of the specials like that I presume is like the story will probably be bloated and dumb and silly. I mean, not to say you can't do a good episode like that, but I feel like those types of episodes, the joy of it is not necessarily the plot. The joy of it is just seeing the Doctors bounce off of each other. And I feel like they would all have so much fun. That would be so, is just so much fun to see that. So I'm sure the plot would be dumb and stupid. It's very hard to do plots like that where you just have like a forced coming together of stuff, but I feel like it would just be fun to see them all bounce off each other. So yeah, I feel like Jodie getting to bounce off of like David Tennant or Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi even would be a lot of fun. I think it would be a lot of fun. Let's see, going down. Oh, thank you by the Punk Rock Zoologist. Thank you for sharing that link with me about N.K. Jemisin's story. I will definitely read that. Yeah. Oh wow, it's not even that long too. Sorry, I just popped it open. She's great. I love her. N.K. Jemisin, definitely highly recommend to anyone who hasn't read her. All right, quick check-in. Paige McLaughlin, thank you again for the super chat. You are lovely. And he said, good night, thanks for the vids. Keep them coming. Peace out. Well, thank you very much, Paige. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for both of your super chats and for your kind words. Let's see. Bazorkin, heart to you again. Thank you for your next super chat. I really appreciate it. And you said, everyone take a shot, Jessie maneuver. Yeah, how many Jessie maneuvers is it gonna... It's gonna become the Jessie maneuver now. I think I've done more Picard maneuvers in the past 10 minutes than Picard did in the entire series of Next Generation. But you said, who do you consider to be the best Master Missy? Again, having only seen the first few seasons... sorry, having only seen modern Doctor Who, have not seen old Doctor Who. I'm blanking on his name, but the master actor. I really love Missy, to be quite honest with you. Michelle Gomez does such a great job as Missy. I think she brings like a menace to the role and yet like kind of a joy to it. Like I liked John Sim when I was younger, but as returning to John Sim now that I'm older, I kind of recognize that his like manic Doctor kind of rubs the wrong way. Like it fits with what his character is doing. Like it fits like what the character is being utilized for in series 3 of Doctor Who, as sort of like kind of the person who has gone crazy. But I feel like he's not great, but John Sim's a fine actor, but I feel like I don't love him as much. Michelle Gomez, I feel like, is definitely my number one. But I'm trying to look him up, but the actor who played the Master in the most recent series, I'm going to mispronounce his name, so apologies on my end. Shasha Dewan, again, probably mispronounced his name. Maybe I got it right, but I feel like I have mispronounced his name, so apologies in advance if I did. But he did such a great job. Again, not a big fan of Chris Chibnall's writing and how the Master was utilized in this episode, but he brought forth this like simmering rage to the Master. Like the other Masters have this like control to them, or like manic energy, or like a sense of like stability. And you watching his performance, you get this sense of like he is in control. You definitely get the sense that he is the Master, and you never lose the sense of like him wanting to be commanding and domineering. And yet underneath every single line, you just get this sense that there is such anger and hurt and vitriol and spite in every moment. And it's some of the most menacing performance I have ever seen in a villain. Of like, he's not yelling at you all the time. He's not screaming at you all the time. But you just get this boiling sense of anger. And it was just so good. Again, the writing was not perfect, but his performance was phenomenal. Phenomenal. But yeah, it's just so good. It's so good. And catching up on the last super chat that I have here from Sarah. Thank you so much. Heart to you. Love the new uniform. Well, thank you, Sarah. You would know, Miss Costume Codex. Or apologies, I shouldn't gender. But Costume Codex yourself. Thank you very much, Sarah. So, yes. So, by the way, people should follow the Costume Codex. The Costume Codex is Sarah's channel, where Sarah goes over different like costuming and how costuming helps storytelling and things like that. Wonderful channel. I highly recommend it. Babylon 5, her Babylon 5 video is my personal favorite. So, Bazorkin, heart to you. You're giving all the super chats. You love talking about Doctor Who. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, by the way, I see someone who's new here for the super chat. I apologize, I'm gonna probably mispronounce your username, but Shigekiti, apologies, I'm totally mispronouncing, but Shigekiteki says, oh my god, first live stream is Jessie. I've joined in on. I'm a big fan. Really good content has really helped me out. Well, I just wanted to quick say, even though I totally botched your name and I apologize, you can laugh. It's okay. You can laugh at me, not with me. But I just want to say welcome, and I'm glad to have you here for the first time. And to anyone else who's, I may have seen you, may have missed your chat earlier, but if you're new to the chat and new to the stream, welcome. Mwah. You are lovely, and I'm so glad to have you here. But Bazerkin, sorry, you said when Davros called out Tennant for being a hypocrite. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. David Tennant, easily my favorite Doctor, by the way. By the way, I was thinking of Davros because I just watched the Masters of the Universe animated show, and Davros the guy who plays Davros, plays I think it's Man at Arms, and I was just like, the whole time I'm like, who the hell is Man at Arms? I recognize, and it's like, oh, it's the guy who played Davros in Game of Thrones. Like, hell yeah. But David Tennant, easily, if anyone was that, I don't know if people were asking that, because it probably did come up. David Tennant is my favorite Doctor. Easy. Not even a question. It goes David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, Christopher Eccleston, Jodie Whittaker. And I know that that's sad, putting Jodie at the bottom there. But I like, to be fair, they're all great, and I enjoy all of them, but that would probably be my... Actually, you know what? I'd probably put Jodie above Christopher Eccleston. Again, not hating on Eccleston, but I never really connected with him all that much. But I do think his highs are higher than Jodie, but I think I like Jodie's performance more than I like Christopher Eccleston. But I do like Christopher Eccleston. So that's probably my order. So. Let's see. We'll review classic Doctor Who episodes on your second channel. I should. I have not seen a single classic Doctor Who. The only Doctor Who episode I've seen, classic Who episode I've seen, is the 5 Doctor special. Like the first one with the first 5 Doctors. I watched that to get like a taste of the original 5 Doctors. Just so I know that's literally the only Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who episode that I've seen. And that's a terrible entry place. So I do need to go back and watch some older Doctor Who at some point. So maybe I will. Maybe I will go through and review some classic Doctor Who. Maybe that'll be a fun thing to do. I feel like that would be a good idea. But yeah, no, I've never seen it. Never seen a single one. So, let's see. The good thing about Jodie leaving is she'll be free to appear in Attack the Block 2. Yes. Attack the Block, great movie. I don't know if it was her first thing ever, but Jodie got one of her big breaks in Attack the Block, and also, why am I blanking on his name? Star Wars, played Finn in Star Wars. Oh my gosh, fantastic actor. Freaking love him. And outspoken, Pacific Rim Uprising. Oh my gosh. Someone help me in the chat. Johnny Boyega. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Johnny Boyega is great in Attack the Block as well. Great movie. If anyone hasn't seen Attack the Block, another highly recommended movie. It's one as someone who is not British, a movie I definitely had to put the subtitles on for because I could not understand a single freaking person in that movie. It's just me being American and not being able to understand accents. Like, I can barely understand any British show. I always have that problem, but that movie in particular. But it's a great movie, great alien attack movie. I highly recommend it. Very, very fun. Johnny Boyega and Jodie Whittaker are both excellent in it. There's a few other actors in there too that I really love, but they were obviously the ones who got the biggest one. So, let's see. Nathaniel Vala, thank you so much for your super chat. Heart to you. You said 14 Picard maneuvers so far that I caught, and I'm gonna do one as we say that. The messages from the chat have been too distracting to count. It's hard to count. Well, so I'm sure someone will do it after the chat. Like someone will watch the stream and comment in the stream the amount of times I did the Picard maneuver, but I'm sure it's a lot. Yes, number 1. Now I can do the Riker. Now I should be able to do. Now what I should do is do the Riker maneuver, and the Picard maneuver at the same time. And actually, since my friend borrowed my my chair, so maybe I can try and do I'm gonna end up hurting myself, but let's see if I can do a Riker maneuver and a Picard maneuver at the same time. Let's see I'm trying to think of how he does it, right? So it's gotta be, do this, you gotta pull the shirt down. Also, you can see that I'm wearing shorts. I'm like wearing the Picard shirt and shorts. This is the official Starfleet uniform. All right, ready? So I gotta do, nope, I'm gonna do it. There we go, and pulling the shirt down. I did it. I did it. Woo! Look at me. I'm a boss. These are the things that Trekkies can accomplish if we work together. Oh my gosh. That was awful. That was literally awful. But that was fun. That was stupid but fun. See, all you need to give to make a Trekkie happy, all you have to do is give them a chair with a back and a Starfleet uniform, and we'll make our own fun all day long. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you all love that in the chat. That was glorious. That's super Femi. Oh my gosh. And I love how people are like congratulating me on doing that, and also talking, Nathan's talking about Genesis of the Daleks. This is the best chat. See, now we are at Loving Jessie, but I love this chat. It's like congratulating me on doing the stupid stuff, and then also talking about Doctor Who. Mwah, you are the best people. You are my favorite type of people. This is the community that I'm so glad I built, or we built together, I should say. Like it's great. Bazorkin, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You asked, are you going to any conventions this year? Yes. I am going to go to, there's 2 actually. So I'm going to be going, this isn't this year, but I'm going to be going to the Star Trek convention in Chicago. I figure it was like Destination Chicago or something like that. So that'll be in April, I believe. So that's technically not this year, but I'm going to definitely be, I'm 100% going to be at, because I'm on a panel for it, along with David Gerald, crazily enough, who was a writer for the original Star Trek, so that's kind of insane. But I'm going to be on a panel on, where's the mail? I just got an email about it, so I just want to make sure I say it correctly. RustyCon. So RustyCon is going to be in September, and I will be at that. It's September 24th to 26th. Here in I think it's in Bellevue. So I will be there for that, if anyone wants to come to that, if you're able to do that. I will try, I haven't gotten tickets yet, but I'm going to go to Mission Chicago. I'm aiming to. So Mission Chicago is the Star Trek convention in April. And then I'm going to also try to get to PAX West. It depends on how expensive it's going to be. But that's also in September. So I'm going to make a good go at being at PAX West this year. So we'll see if I can get maybe I can get a press thing, or if I can get a, or if I can still get, I don't even know if you can still get tickets, badges on sale. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be at RustyCon. I might be at PAX West. And I'll definitely, unless something happens, it's a little ways out, so I can't say for sure, but I'm 99% sure I'll be at Mission Chicago. Or Destination Chicago, or Mission Chicago, says Geek Filter. So those are the 3 that you can kind of expect me at. Oh, also, I will be at, I will definitely be at the Comic-Con, Emerald City Comic-Con, which is also here. That'll be in December, so I will be at that. Obviously, all of those COVID permitting as well, because I know the Delta variant is still kind of going crazy right now. So, COVID permitting, those are the 4. We'll definitely be at Emerald City Comic-Con. We'll definitely be at RustyCon. 99% sure I'll be at Mission Chicago. And then, let's say, 50% chance I'll be at PAX West. So, those will be the ones. So, again, all with the asterisk of COVID permitting. So. I've only ever been to one Comic-Con. I met David Tennant. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, David Tennant would be a fun person to meet. I want to meet Anson Mount and Ethan Peck. I got a picture with Shaniqua Martin Green, and I loved her. She was so kind. One of the best meetings I've ever done. If I had to meet anyone from Star Trek right now, I would love to meet Ethan Peck and Anson Mount. They seem like a lot of fun. Mike McMahon would be great to meet someday. There's so many people. I honestly would just like to meet so many people from Star Trek. That's one thing I love about Star Trek, is that the people behind the scenes, so many of them, not all of them. There's obviously some awful people behind the scenes in Star Trek. That happens a lot. Not to, it happens. But most of the people, and the people who are good on Star Trek, are kind and caring and beautiful, amazing people. So yeah, I think that's absolutely wonderful. Bazerkin, heart to you. Do you have merch? I don't have merch yet, but credit on that front. I have actually started talking with some people to start doing some merch. Geek Filter also, we need to talk about some designs and stuff like that, or people who want to do designs. And Geek Filter, I think you said you might have some people that you know. But I did reach out. There was some suggestions by people in my Discord, suggested some places that I've reached out to. So we'll see if that's going to be coming. There will be merch coming. I think it's going to happen, but nothing to officially announce yet, because I don't know for sure. But I have. Black Cover 95 says, have you seen Jesse's video on Doctor Who? I did. The what was it, the 3-hour video that Jay did? I think it was a good video. I liked it. I didn't watch the entirety of the thing, just because it was the video was very much breaking down individual episodes and why they were a problem, and it felt very... it wasn't toxic, because I know a lot of people were throwing that at Jay about the video's toxic. I didn't get the sense of this video is toxic, but it was very much I didn't agree with every single thought. I didn't agree with every criticism. It felt very negative overall, and as well it should. I mean, if you don't like on a Doctor Who and a Doctor Triple, I think all of his criticisms were, or sorry, I apologize. I think Jay may actually use they them pronouns. I'm gonna use they them pronouns just because I don't know, and I actually just realized that. So apologies to Jay. For if I used any, if I misgendered them in any way. So I don't know the pronouns. So anyways, Jay, their video is 5 hours, someone said. And I don't know, I didn't agree with it. It's one of those hard things with videos like that, where I think a lot of people criticize Jay for saying that it was a toxic video. And I didn't get that sense from it. There's a difference between being critical of something and being toxic. Toxic is when you're lashing out at people, insulting people around it, insulting minorities through your toxicity, going after people. And there's a difference between just giving honest critique of something you're I don't think this is good. It's not speaking to me. As a fan of Doctor Who, this show right now did not speak to me, and this is my criticism. And that's the sense that I got from the video. So I didn't think it was toxic. But what I will say about the video is I did not agree with all the criticisms, and I have to go back and rewatch it, because I have to say there's some of the criticism I don't know if I would put this much weight on it or agree with it. So it was very much a place of I didn't want to watch 5 hours of something that I'm going to be I agree with you partially and I disagree with you partially, and it was very much and it didn't feel like it had enough fun in it either. I watched something there was the iCarly video that I believe someone just did. There was someone who did a 5-hour iCarly video, and that was a great video on iCarly, even though the video was overall negative, but there was a lot of fun still within the video, whereas Jay's video, I just didn't have a lot of fun watching it. And so that's more of a criticism of the video itself, not necessarily of the criticisms that were in the video, if that distinction. Quentin, yes, thank you, Quentin. Quentin did such a great video. So I think that would be the distinction why I didn't love Jay's video. I just think it was... The criticism is fair, even if I disagree with some of it. I just didn't find the video all that fun to watch. which is like a hard balance with the criticism video, right? Like, sometimes 5 hours of criticism without adding a lot of fun into it can be difficult to watch. And I think that was more my criticism with it. Again, all the criticism was valid. So, all right. I'm going to give a heart to, I see 2 more super chats. So I just want to quick give hearts to those, and then I'm going to be wrapping out soon. But people said, good night. I treasure your content and your journey. Thanks for all that you do. Well, thank you, Bazorkin. Mwah. You are lovely, and thank you for all the super chats, and thank you for being here. And Erica, heart to you for all your super chats as well. Mwah. You said, I would buy a Nuances a Thing t-shirt or pin if it benefited charity of your choice. I would buy too. For sure. And I was talking about this last time. The thing with my merch channel is I just want, for the merch that I make, I just want to be able to recoup any losses. So whatever merch that I make, all the money that I make from the merch will go to a charity of some sort. The only thing I will take in terms of for my own monetary benefit from any type of merch will be just if it costs me anything to make the merch, I will take what I need to not take a loss on all the shirts or whatever items I end up selling. So I'll just take enough to cover my losses, if there are any losses. There might not even be any. And then all the rest is going to be given to a charity of some sort. So we'll see. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out yet, but that would be the plan. Because merch is merch, and I just would rather send the money. And there's probably not going to be a ton of money made off of merch anyways. Merch doesn't typically make you a heck of a lot of money, but we'll get there. All right, any last thoughts before I finish off the night? I would love to see some stuff. Also, quick announcements. Also, let me quick put it up here. Tomorrow, we are going to be doing there's a video out tomorrow. It's going to be at noon Pacific time, so an hour normally. I'm deciding to push back my premiere times a little bit from their normally scheduled time, because it's a little bit, I feel like the videos might do better in the algorithm, because I just see that spike around that time, so I'd rather sort of ride that. But I'm going to quick schedule this for tomorrow. And I'll share out the link with everybody in the chat before we wrap out. But tomorrow, if you're not a patron, you might not have already seen it yet, but tomorrow, their video on Futurama. We're going to be doing a video on Futurama's transphobic episode, and I'm going to be using it as a way to discuss transphobia in women's sports. So we're going to be using a transphobic episode of Futurama, one of my favorite shows, to talk about transphobia in women's sports in general, some of the tropes and things that affect trans people. It'll be, I think it's a fun video. I think I have a good time with it. We have an enjoyable time. So that's going to go up tomorrow at noon. Also, quick announcement. I should have mentioned this earlier. Because my friend is visiting, there will still be a drunk live stream this weekend, but it's going to be Sunday night, not Saturday. So instead of a Saturday night drunk stream, because my friend is leaving Sunday morning, Sunday evening will be the drunk stream. So no drunk stream Friday or Saturday. Drunk stream will be Sunday, and then after that we're going to be back to the normal Saturday. So sorry that the drunk stream's kind of bouncing around a little bit in time, but I think it's going to move to Sunday this Sunday. So it still will happen, but it's going to be a Sunday night. So Sunday night drunk stream this weekend for the drunk stream. Futurama video tomorrow on at noon on Friday, and that's pretty much all of the stuff. And yeah, any other thoughts before I wrap out? I will say this, Lisa Garrison. Since you asked this question, I'll end on this note because it's important, and I at least want to say it publicly at some shape or form. Screw Activision Blizzard. The stuff that you read, the stuff that happened behind the scenes of Activision Blizzard, horrifying and disgusting, for numerous reasons. One of the things that spoke to me the most with that. Sorry, I actually need to rant about this because I just need to say this thing. I'm actually going to rant a little bit here for just a moment before we wrap out. Obviously, the treatment of women at Activision Blizzard, and there's also been some revelations that the sexual harassment did target some men too, and I don't want to leave them out of it because that's also important to address the harassment that men face, which is also sometimes more invisible than the harassment that women face. But it's usually more systemically against women, so that's the distinction. But all of that is horrible and disgusting and vile. And the response from the company was also diminutive and trying to obfuscate the truth and trying to say, well, this is the thing of the past. There's all those conversations. The thing that really hurts my soul reading some of that, I don't want to say this is worse because there's clearly other worse things that happened with that. But something that really just hurts my soul with that story, and it's a problem with video gaming, and I've seen it in my real life, and I won't say it's about who specifically, but I have friends who, and this happens in Hollywood too, it's not just a video game industry thing, people who are so inspiring and so inspired to make things, to go into an industry that they want to contribute their artistry, their inspiration, their love for. Any artistic medium has this. People going into film, people going into gaming, have that inspiration. And to see people lose slowly their inspiration to make and give back to something that they love, a genre they love, have their voice add to that, be torn away from them because they were treated terribly because of who they were, and see their joy and inspiration ripped from them, I think is so cruel, horrible. It depresses me. I've seen it happen to friends. I saw the spark of joy that they had for something that they were so inspired by once go out. And I think it's awful. Truly awful. And not only is it just awful, but it's also just a loss to all of us. The loss of the art and beauty they could have brought if they were just treated with the same basic dignity and respect given to their other colleagues. So, yeah, I think I'll end on this note. Fuck Activision Blizzard. Yeah. That's the best I can say about it. It's gross and disgusting. And again, I don't want to say that the loss of art is the worst thing that happened. There are clearly more bigger, important things to people's lives, but it's just something that always breaks my heart. That's what breaks my heart, I think. Anyways, I love you all. Sorry to end on a depressing note like that. You're all lovely. I adore you. To bring it up a little bit, I love you. You're all lovely. You are wonderful. Thank you for this community. Thank you for allowing me a minute to rant about something like that. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow at noon for the video. I will see you on Sunday for the drunk stream. I give you all hugs and joy and kindness and big love from me. And yeah, have a wonderful night, my beautiful friends and community.